Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to count on to subtract. So if you watch the video on how to count on to add, you're going to be noticing a little bit of changes on this video as to how you go about subtracting using the count on strategy. So this is in part to help you understand how to apply a variety of strategies to fluently subtract within 10. So let's go ahead and get started on learning to count on to subtract. As I said, if you watched the video before, when you're using the count on strategy to add, you usually start with the larger number. Well, when you're using it to subtract, like the problem 6 minus 4, you actually want to start with the smaller number when subtracting. So we want to get that smaller number in our mind, and then we're going to count on up. We're going to then count on up to the larger number, the 6, in order to figure out what that is. So what we do is we go ahead and we take that 4, get it in our mind, so we know this is 4, and now we're going to count up. We're going to count up to 6. So we're going to count up 4, 5, 6. So I can see right here that I have 1 and then 2 numbers. So count on 2. So 6 minus 4 equals 2. So that is an example of how you can count on to subtract. Let's do a couple more examples. All right, so in this one, again, as we said, it's the opposite operation of addition. Subtraction is the opposite operation, so it works the opposite. And when we're adding, we get the larger number in our mind, but when we're subtracting to count on, we get the smaller number. So which one of these numbers is smaller, 7 or 5? Well, that number 5 is the smaller number. So I'm going to get that number 5 in my mind, which is right here, these 5 apples. So there's 5, and now I'm going to count on to add, to subtract. So 5, 6, 7. And then when I look at this, I know that there is 1 of these, 2 of these. So actually what I did is I take 7 minus 5 equals 2. So this is a strategy that you can use when you're trying to do some subtraction problems. Let's take a look at this, because we can also use a number line to solve this as well. Not only can we use these pictures, but we can use a number line. And we can work pretty much the same way. So we have 7 minus 4, and you can see here I have 2 different problems. I've got 7 minus 4, and then I have 4 plus 7. Because I remember what I was talking about just a little bit ago was that addition and subtraction are the opposite operations of each other, the adverse operations of each other. So 7 minus 4 is going to give us an answer, and that answer would be able to plug in this variable piece right here, which would be 4 plus blank as of right now, which is going to equal 7. So let's go ahead and solve this by using counting on for subtraction. So as we said before, we find that smaller number, which is 4. So we're going to start at our 4 here, and I'm just going to draw a circle there on that 4 for you. So we're going to start right here, and we're going to count on up to that 7 here. So we're going to go 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I go ahead and look at that, I know that I went 1, 2, 3. So that would be 3. So 7 minus 4 equals 3. Well, we know that subtraction is the opposite operation of addition, so I know that 4 plus 3 equals 7. So I can plug that in and work the opposite way. I could even solve that too. I could use the blue up here to go ahead and solve that. So let's take a look at what that would look like right here. So I can go ahead and start with my larger number, which would be 4, because I always start with a larger number when I'm using addition. So I'm going to start at 4, and I'm going to count on 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So I went 1, 2, 3. So then it lands there on that 7, which is the answer 7. So we see how that works. So let's keep moving on here. Let's do another one. So we're going to count on to subtract. I start with the smaller number first. So I'm going to start with that 7. Right there's my 7. I want to start there on that 7, and I'm going to count on to 8. So I'm going to go 1. So 8 minus 7 equals 1. And I know 7 plus 1 equals 8 because it is the opposite operation. And I showed you how that was true just a second ago. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one after I show you that real quick. So we know that if we're using counting on strategy for addition, I start with that larger number. So I start here at 7, and then I'm going to count on, and I'm going to go 7, 8. That was 1. So there you can see there's that 1 for that answer. So let's move on to the next one. Here's a little bit more challenging. We're going to look to see if Buzz here is correct or if Boom is correct. Buzz and Boom, which one of these guys solved the problem correctly? So let's go ahead and read the problem first. There are 6 shapes. 4 of the shapes are squares, so 4 are squares, and the rest are circles. How many are circles? So they're asking us to solve this right here in green. So green is how many are circles. So we need to know how many of these shapes need to be circles. All right, so there are 6 total shapes. So we've got 6 total shapes. So here's my problem. So 6 shapes. 4 are squares, so 6 minus 4 seems to be a great way to do that. So let's go ahead and solve that to figure it out. So that's what we're looking to solve. So we know that whenever we're solving a problem like this, a subtraction problem, and we're using that count on strategy, we want to start with a smaller number. So let's see which one of these guys, Buzz or Boom here, which one of them, Buzz or Boom, started with a smaller number. So I can see here Buzz put this 4 in his mind first. Okay, well that looks to be right. Boom, it doesn't look like he did. He didn't put anything in his mind first. He just started here at the 4 and the 5. So let's check Buzz's work. So Buzz said 4, and then Buzz counted on from 4. He went 4, 5, 6. So then I can see here we've got 1 and then 2. So Buzz said 6 minus 4 equals 2. Well, after checking that, I can see that Buzz did it correctly. Boom, I'm not quite sure exactly what Boom did here. Boom didn't put anything in his mind, and then he counted on from nothing and said 4, 5, 6. So that's where he got his 3, but we know that that's not the answer. So Boom is not correct. The way that I solved to make sure that to check that was I started with that smaller number and then added on from there. Well, let's move on to the next problem. All right, so in this one it says there are 9 crayons. Some are short, 6 are tall. How many are short? So they're asking us to find out how many are short. So our problem is 9 minus 6, just like it's written right here. So I know that I need to start with that 6, right? So I'm going to say each of these tall crayons are blue. So I'm going to draw I want to draw 6 tall crayons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to draw the same, I'm going to draw red crayons for small. So the small there, I can see there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to say there's 6 right here, 7, 8, 9. All right, so there were 6 here. So then we went 7, 8, 9. So if I looked at that, I can see right here, this is a group of 3. So 9 minus 6 equals, there we go, 3. Not a very nice 3, but you can see that it is a 3 there. 9 minus 6 equals 3, and we can see the 3 small crayons there. And we know that addition is the opposite operation, so I know that 3 plus 6 equals that 9, or 6 plus 3 equals 9. So that's the opposite operation. All right, so let's find out these 9 beads, because not only can we use crayons to solve this, but we can also use that number line, just like we talked about before. So in this problem, we have there are 9 beads, 8 are purple, the rest are red. So we have 9 minus 8, and we're solving for what that could be. So we're going to start with that small number first. We're going to start at that 8. So here is our 8 right here. We're going to count on, so 8, and then we went 1. So you can see that 1 real easy there, one little lump there. So then 9 minus 8 equals 1. And I know that 8 plus 1 is going to equal 9. All right, let's do this one. There are 7 apples A deer eats 5. So, ooh, a deer eats 5 of those apples. So let's go ahead and get our apples out here. So we know that 7 minus 5 equals, I'm going to get my 5 apples here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my 5 apples right here. There's my group of 5. Remember, I start with that smaller number first right here, which is at 5. And I'm going to count on to 7. So I'm going to see how many apples are left. I'm going to do the apples that are left in blue. So 5, 6, 7. So I counted on. So how many is in this next group, which looks like 2? I can see 2 there. So 1, 2. 7 minus 5 equals 2. I know that it's the opposite operation as addition. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. So that is how you can use counting on to subtract. Have fun.